I want to step you through how this airplane model was made. I know on the site we can't really give you step-by-step instructions on how to do it because that would take forever to write and even longer to follow. So I've given you kind of conceptual steps on the website, and I hope that watching this video will fill in some of the details. Let's start with the rolled back model. We've created a sketch picture here for you. I'll turn on the display pane. We can show this sketch. Okay, this sketch picture was inserted by first creating a 2D sketch. You should already know this. And tools, sketch tools, and then sketch picture would be right here. Once you get the sketch picture in there, you can double click on it and drag the corners to make sure that you're getting the correct size. You can put in a sketch line and dimension it to get a reference for the size, and then just drag the image and make sure you've got it centered and all. That takes a little back and forth messing around, but you should be able to get that with a little bit of effort. I've put in 2 sketch pictures so that we can see this from the side and from the front, and that helps us get a view of almost everything we need. I think these are the only 2 views available from the site. Once I've sketched over these, I turn them off, kind of get them out of the way. You could also do the right click and make reference sketch on them, although this seems to it's getting the wrong icon here. It's getting a 3D sketch icon, and it should be getting a pencil with a circle and a line through it. That's an interesting error. Okay, so here I've created the fat line, and what this was I turn these images back on. This fat line is just where I believe the fat part of the fuselage is going to be from the projected side view. This would have been easier if I'd had a top view. I could have just sketched that directly, but I didn't have that picture. So now I'm going to create the fuselage, and the fuselage I've sketched the top shape using the side image and also the bottom shape. And then I've taken the fat line on an extruded surface and used a 3D sketch, what we call the spline-on surface. So let's do this. If I show this extruded surface that is essentially the silhouette from the top, and I open the 3D sketch and then create a spline-on surface, that allows me to sketch directly on this surface. And what I did in this case was I just sketched the silhouette from the top view, and I used that as the middle profile on the fuselage. So the fuselage is a boundary surface, and it's got the top profile, the 3D sketch spline on surface, so that's a 3D spline, and then the bottom profile. And these are set up with the appropriate tangency conditions, and that gives us half of the shape of the main fuselage. Now the next thing I created was the wingtip plane, and this was just to help me get an idea where the tip of the wing should be. Then I wanted to create the main wing. This has a comment in it, which is what this symbol is all about, and the tooltip for this feature will give you the comment. The 2 sketches for the wing, one was just at the center plane, and the other was on the wingtip plane. This was created using a loft. The comment is showing up here in the property manager for the main wing feature. I applied a little bit of end constraint here, a little bit of normal to profile, and that gives the wing a little bit of curvature toward the center, and it straightens out toward the end. You can affect that by the tangent length or by dragging this pink arrow. So that's the fuselage and the main wing. Now there are a lot of additional details that we have to go through. So it looks like we've made a lot of progress pretty quickly, but we need to now talk about how we're going to join the main wing to the fuselage. You can see that they're not quite put together there. So what I'm going to do is create a split line, and this split line is just a sketch from the top plane, and I split the top face of the wing. And then I use delete face to get rid of that part of the wing. Now I'm going to trim a little bit away from the fuselage. The way that was done was a little bit differently. I used a 3D sketch, and again, this was the spline on surface. Now you can't read that because it goes off the screen here. But I drew a spline on surface, and I used 2 split entity points. You can see that this is a separate spline from the middle one. I drew it all as a single spline and then just split it twice. That's so that I get an edge in the split that I can use to easily loft from here to here. There's another way to do that, and I'll demonstrate. Okay, so I've got this split. Now create a boundary surface. Let's take a look at this boundary surface. Because I made the split, I have a single edge here that I can select. So I'm just going to clear the selection to allow me to show you this edge. Okay, see how the edge stops right here? That's because I trimmed that face with a curve that had split entities on it. And so there was a point here on the spline, and so there's a point there on my edge. But there's another way that that you could do this. Let me select both of these. Now you can see the green points over here and the pink points over here. If this had gone all the way, if I hadn't used those split points, and this edge went all the way around, I could grab just the end of that pink handle and drag it back and just use a portion of the edge. I can do this on both sides of the feature if I want to. Okay, so that's just a way that allows you to limit how much of the edge you're going to use. Okay, now I created a reference surface. I create a lot of these. Sometimes I need a connector that goes from one place to another, particularly if it's on the plane of symmetry, which this is. And I'll just extrude that sketch just for a short distance. And that gives me a surface that I can actually be tangent to, or, create some sort of a relation to a surface that I couldn't create with a sketch. So I do that a lot on the plane of symmetry. The wingtip was a little more complex because what I've done is I put a plane out here at the end and made the cross section of the wing. And I could have just lofted directly to kind of get this shape, but I wanted to be a little more direct about that, and I used a couple of guide curves. Now let me show you something here about 3D splines and surfaces. I'm going to get rid of this relationship here, and let's get rid of this as well. Okay, so now we've got a spline that's got no relationship to the surface that's right here, but it needs to be a very smooth connection. So generally what we do is we get it visually, as close as you can, or pretty close. And then to make this connection, we click on the spline, control click on the edge, and then control click on the surface. And then Solidworks gives us, from that combination, that specific combination gives us this equal curvature option. Okay, and that allows me to assign that and then to go ahead and use that in this feature. So that's how the wingtip was made. You notice I'm using a lot of 3D splines. It's because they're just a lot easier and faster to use than trying to fumble around with creating some sort of a plane. Next, we're going to keep on filling in this area between the fuselage and the wing, because we had that small reference surface over here, and then we had this gap. We're able to use the fill surface to fill in that gap pretty smoothly. Now we can do the same thing on the front, and we've used the fill surface here all the way around to fill in that gap between the wing and the fuselage. Okay, now let's turn our attention to the tail, and we're using some sketches here to lay out where we want the tail. This will be the bottom of the straight section and the top of the straight section, and we couple of planes in there to sketch on. And then I trimmed out a section from the top view section of the tail so we can get the curved area of the tail. So that's what this loft is all about, the straight section. We created that first so that we can get this smoother curved area of the tail. We can actually use the fuselage to create that. Now here's another situation where we had a need for a reference surface on the plane of symmetry, and so I've put in a couple of small extruded surfaces from sketched splines. And then because this is a four-sided gap, I went ahead and used a boundary surface for this rather than the fill surface. Fill surface would have worked just as well, but a boundary surface works okay because it's a four-sided gap that we're dealing with. If this had been, a three-sided gap or some sort of odd number of sides, then I would have used a fill surface. Now we've got to do the horizontal surfaces of the tail, and these are created in the same way that the wing was created. I used a loft surface and two sketches, and then I've got some tangency constraint in here. If we take a look at it, we got a normal to profile, and that's giving the tail a little bit of a bulge here on the back. And again, we had the wing tips on here, and this was created with just a second sketch. We had a little less control over this one because of the fact that we just went from the edges from the tail surface to a sketch, and another boundary surface here to cap off. And then I just added a revolve, or a half of a revolve, to kind of strengthen up the joint between the horizontal and vertical surfaces of the tail. And of course a trim to trim it all together, and a couple of fillets to make it all look nice. I think we'll stop this one here, and we'll make another video a little bit later on for the propeller and the motor cover and the other features that went into making this model.